It's back into the boardroom at Somerset Park again today, and this time to meet Ayr United's new assistant manager, Michael McArdle. First thing, welcome to Somerset Park.
Thanks very much, Cal. Pleasure.
Now, I've been having a look back over your career so far, and I think I've got to start slightly differently than I would normally do this kind of thing, which is saying that you've got a background of analysis, of coaching. It's not the normal single set that we would expect from just an assistant manager. So what is it about you think is going to give something additional to the assistant manager role here at Somerset Park?
Yeah, it's a very wide range of skill sets. It's been a long apprenticeship for me, but the various environments that I've been in and knowledge that I've picked up both within football or out with football provides me with a more, as I say, a broader range of skills, from youth coaching, development of players, development of the individual, which are a more senior player, and development of coaches as well. I've also got the tactical analysis, which I've been heavily involved in for almost 8 or 9 years now, both from a practical perspective, involved in background teams at first team level, specifically in Scotland, from the Premier League down through the Championship more predominantly, and League One, but also from the theoretical perspective. The tactical analysis is really studying from different environments, both here in the UK and abroad, so very wide range of skill sets which aren't, as you say, maybe the normal criteria.
And how do you think this will help Ayr United?
Yeah, for Ayr United, moving forward, probably for me, I see my role three-pronged. Is one, the initial support to Mark, so supporting Mark and my role as assistant manager towards Mark, and where he wants to take things and how he wants to go, and supporting both. He'll be supporting my development, and I'll be supporting his development as well within the role. Secondly, for me as the players, it'll be my job with the players, getting them prepared, doing everything in the background tactically, from an analysis perspective as well, to gather the data and information that we need to then provide them with for their preparation for the game, but more importantly that one-to-one support as well for the players, to give them an opportunity to develop, working with the person first before the player, helping the person develop first, and then getting the most out of the player secondly. The third part for me, which I'm excited about, is the work with the youth development within the club. Knowing David from my previous role as an academy director as well, I've known David before I came here, and Craig and Tommy Tate, etc. So I know the coaches very well, and I've seen players like Finn coming through the groups whilst I've been working with opposition clubs. You see the young players coming through, so I've got a good knowledge of the players and the coaches at the club, and the most important link for me in that third part of the role is bridging the gap between the academy and the first team, is helping with my knowledge and skill set, the position. To give you an example, the last 2 days David's been on the pitch with us at training, which was very important for me, and very important for Mark as well, is that David and the coaches within the academy environment get close to us, and vice versa, we're close to them, so that we can understand the gaps. There'll always be a gap between the young player coming from the academy to a senior environment, which is the same in any working environment, but it's about us just making those gaps a wee bit smaller. So
making the transition
easier. Yeah, and it's having a good experience of that specific area now. It's about me sharing those experiences with the coaches and the players, and getting into the academy environment as well from time to time to learn from the coaches and learn from the young players coming through as well. So yeah, it's a different, it's not maybe a typical assistant manager's role. There's more, as I said earlier, there's more range to it, but more so with the range of skill sets that I've got, I can help in all areas.
You mentioned earlier that really going back, Falkirk was one of the key places that anyone would know you from. I think I first came to know who you were through that time. Was it 2017 where you helped with the interim manager's position? I think there was you, Mark, and 2 two others. Who was it?
Lee and Mr Smith.
Mr Smith,
Yeah,
I
Mr.
like
Smith.
that there. I take it when you say Mr Smith, that's from a position of respect.
Yeah, and more so, Mr Smith's been my mentor. He's been in the academy. I was in Falkirk's environment for just over 7 years, and working with Alex was a privilege. You've got, as some would term, the godfather of Scottish football, and I'm blessed with the opportunity to have 5 or 6 days a week with him in a close environment where he was mentoring me, providing feedback and providing support. So yeah, it was absolutely blessed to get that opportunity.
So you worked with Mark back at Falkirk, and during that small period, it was it 2 or 3 weeks?
2 or 3 weeks. I think more importantly is known Mark for probably three years before that as well. As Mark being a senior player at the club, I used the opportunity in my relationship with him when I seen his vigour, to get involved in coaching and plan ahead to the position he's in now. That far back, I took advantage of that from the academy perspective and encouraged Mark into the academy environment. So Mark worked as an under-16s coach and worked at the different levels, but more importantly worked with other coaches doing similar, Dan Barr, John Baird, etc. Is that transition from being a player to becoming a coach, and my skill set allowed that provision to help that transition from a player to a coach. So known Mark for the 3-year period before that cropped up as well.
Okay, that brings up something for me there. Where you just phoned on Sunday, and that was it, you'd suddenly been, Monday it would be, when you'd suddenly been asked, or knowing as you've been talking about, I think anyone at the club knows that Mark is someone for preparation. As you said, he's been planning for managerial role for the last few years. Had you previously discussed teaming up together like this?
Not as clear cut as that, but definitely we've been working together, both as a partnership to help each other prepare and develop. I've had opportunities in the last 2 years, and Mark's had opportunities as well, and we've both been very close in helping each other's development. It was quite clear when he gave me the call, when he had his discussions with Sandy, to say that I'm going to go for this, and what's your thoughts? And that's the two is working together again, and I was one of probably many confidence for Mark because he's so thorough in his preparation, even to the point where at night in the back garden, late before his phone interview, he's doing a mock interview with me, and I'm in the back garden with the dog and carrying out the mock interview with him. So that kind of shows you the preparation that Mark went through. So there's no surprise to me when I spoke to him after his interview process and after the Dunfermline game on the Saturday. There was no surprise to me when he was saying I'm confident, and when I heard that from him, I knew the preparation behind it. I knew that it would have left an impression, and so yeah, we've been together. There's been no promises that I would be coming in with Mark, but I think the relationship and the impression I've left with Mark as well, and known each other very well, known the dynamics, how I can complement Mark and vice versa, in each other's qualities, then he's obviously, it's been a quick decision for Mark to speak to myself as well.
So when he spoke to you, a level of excitement, slight surprise, slight.
Yeah.
How did it get you?
I think you just want to get started. I think that's the most important thing. I'm blessed with the opportunity. I've known Ayr United as a club from the outside looking in, as an opponent. But the main thing for me was Mark had his couple of days to get prepared and get everything over the line, with it becoming public, and then speaking to myself as well. But the most important thing then for myself was just getting everything over the line, and then getting on the pitch, getting the ball moving on the pitch, and meeting the players, and it's been good.
So what have your first impressions of Ayr United been, the club and the training pitch?
Yeah, I think with the first impression for me, I come from a village in Moodiesburn, so it's very homely. That was probably my real first impression, coming through the doors and meeting Lynn and Lisa, grabbing a cup of tea and getting to know people, and then Tracy and Graham coming over, and you meet Steely and Jason on the pitch as well, so you get to know people very early in the first day, I've enjoyed that. That's been the first impression for me, is welcoming, strong home feeling as well, which makes you enjoy your work, because there's work to be done here as well, and that gives you a good feeling. So first impressions of the club, definitely I'm blessed to get this opportunity with Mark as well, and I'm humbled to represent the club, and we'll work our hardest to provide the best we can towards the targets of everybody at the club. So we'll represent everyone that's here, and I think for me the first impression from the team is, again, knowing the players from the outside looking in, and knowing some of them because I've worked with them in the past. It's a quality group, it's a good group of characters as well, so training's been highly enjoyable.
What type of training is it? Have you made changes yet? Have you had any influence? I think, is it 2 sessions you've had now? Is this too early?
No, it's not too early, but it's too early for change. It's certainly with the fixture list that's coming up. We've got 3 games now in 8 days as we sit here, and it's most important factor here is that the players are comfortable. So the players will not want too much change, and we're well aware of that. So training's been good intensity, good quality, and it's just keeping the players ticking over in preparation for the first match tomorrow evening. And then it's a matter of balancing it throughout that period. So probably myself and Mark do have ideas, we do have a structure for the working week, probably more so from my background, the periodisation of a week, and we'll not change that overnight. That'll be something that we'll work with the senior players in the dressing room, get their opinion as well, which is very important, and before making any changes to any training structure or anything, there'll be a lot of discussion before we go changing anything too wildly.
I like what you're talking about with the week there. You were talking about what you do within the week. Now, we've had a little blather beforehand, because I was looking at your qualifications, and you've got your UEFA A licence both for the seniors and for the youth. But what I really liked noticing there, that you're working on a master's degree, which would take you equivalent of what is a UEFA licence?
From an academic perspective, the pro licence would sit at level 5, this sits at level 7. So the choice for me personally to do that was to get a more academic background to the theory and the science behind not just the football aspect of it, but also I've got qualifications in psychology, so it was more taking that to another level.
So the periodisation of the week? The
periodisation is the tactical and technical preparation for a player. So I've been working with a gentleman down from the Welsh FA, Dave Adams, who's just been appointed the technical director at the Welsh FA. So through the course with the University of South Wales, it's a specific performance coaching course, but specific to football. So the people that I've networked with and learnt with are all, one, they're lecturers, but two, they're practically within the game as well. So the level, if you take David's background for example, he's been assistant manager at Swansea, Middlesbrough, etc. So he's been putting into practice as well. So the most important aspect for me was staying up with contemporary methods that are in the game. Sometimes those methods are new to you, sometimes you're aware of them but don't fully understand the science behind it. So the last kind of year and a half, I've got a year to go now, just to work on that side of it. But it gives me again a more rounded aspect rather than just the qualifications and the coaching experience.
Now, you did say earlier on you really met Mark a lot earlier than probably he really realises even.
Yeah, probably twofold. Everybody's got the legendary Championship manager notification, Mark, but coming from the village in Moodiesburn, Mark lived locally over in Coatbridge, and a few years younger than me, playing at Moodiesburn Boys Club. So Mark played in a younger age group from myself with a circle of my friends, and Mark and a few of my friends were started on their journeys as young pros and getting taken from Moodiesburn to Falkirk. So the second time round when Mark came back to Falkirk as a club and we met each other probably officially, we did know of each other from our youth as well. So yeah, it was quite a long time ago.
Right, final thing, game coming up,
yeah.
Friday, TV game. quite a bit of pressure early on. How are you handling it, one, and two, what have you done in particular for the team for this game?
I think the most important thing is, as I said earlier, is making the players comfortable. We're not changing things. The team's performing well. The results aside in the last couple of games, you look at the performances and you look at the style of play, everything's been going very well. So for us, it's just making the players comfortable again, getting them intensity at a level which will peak tomorrow night as well. But most pressure, it's for us, it's something we're used to. We've been there before. We've been in situations where, unfortunately, if you take the situation at Falkirk, we were under pressure because we're coming to an environment where, unfortunately, the players weren't winning. In some opinions, maybe not performing. And with that pressure, to be honest with myself and Mark, it's not something that affects us too much. We welcome it, but we're very emotionally balanced, where it's important that the players see that we're calm and we're prepared. And it's one thing that myself and Mark will always be thoroughly prepared, and that gives the players that confidence that it should feed on to the players as well, that calmness.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you, and thank you for spending some time so early on here at Somerset Park.
Pleasure. Thanks very much, Carol. Thank you.